I have an active GoFundMe still. The link is in my Instagram bio. And this is to help save back for all the money I spent on attorneys between February, March, and April. First things first, back in February, something really, really horrible happened to me. I needed to advocate for myself. My livelihood is at risk. What happened to me on February 11th has nothing to do with my TikTok account being banned. At that point in time, I still had my Adrielle Sigler TikTok account. My Vegan Riz TikTok account got banned February 5th. Something really, really crazy happened to me February 11th that I will not repeat on here for safety reasons. And then after that happened, I needed to sign with the attorneys so they could speak and advocate for me. Once all of that was in stone, they suggested they put legal packets together to pursue criminal charges against individuals who were committing crimes against me. This law firm was expert in cyber crimes, data breach, tech. These were not defense attorneys. Each of the legal packets were close to $10,000 each. It started out as 2 legal packets in February because there were 2 individuals who drew attention to themselves significantly. And my attorneys were working with law enforcement because there was still an active criminal investigation at that point in time. And then the next month was March when someone filed a frivolous claim against me in the state of South Dakota. This person went through victims' resources and filed for an order of protection against me. That introduced another legal packet, and the attorneys had to communicate back and forth with the courts. All of this is documented in my invoices that I submitted on GoFundMe itself. So GoFundMe, I did not show them the invoices. I did, however, show GoFundMe the law firm I'm working with, the letter that the law firm produced for me, and all of the receipts and bills that the attorneys charged me, which amounted to close to $24,000. When I created the GoFundMe, it was amounted to $19,530, and that was, I want to say, the month of March. That was around the time I created the GoFundMe. This was a severely detrimental impact on my savings account, my checking account. This put a huge dent in my bank account, and I am still suffering financially because of all these attorney fees that were absolutely necessary to protect myself from such severe harassment. So back where I was discussing in March, someone filed a false frivolous court petition for an order of protection against me, and the attorneys had to communicate with the courts. They had to apply for pro hac vice. It was denied. They tried to apply for pro hac vice again. They tried to request to appear and speak for me. All of it was denied. So then they had to try to communicate with other attorneys, and they found me someone. But that new attorney in South Dakota charged like $350 an hour, and he said that he would charge me for 10 hours of work. So I decided to just drop it altogether, but I still had to pay my attorneys. And they were charging me for every email, every phone call, every voicemail they had to leave or work they had to do. It was insanely expensive. And my final invoice for the month of April made the whole sum of attorney fees $24,000. My GoFundMe is for $20,000. I'm still suffering financially because of all this cyberbullying, harassment, and more. And I know a lot of you want the details. You want this. If you're donating to my GoFundMe and you want to personally message me, I would be happy to share more details if you promise to keep the conversation private for my and my family's safety. The GoFundMe is still there. It's unfortunate because the first week I made that GoFundMe, I had over $100 worth of donations because people saw what was happening in real time and they donated. Someone at GoFundMe refunded everyone. And then a higher up at GoFundMe investigated this. I provided all of my billing information, and that included a document that my attorneys put together. But it was too late. The damage was already done. The donations were refunded, and as of today, I have received $80 worth of donations. I have not withdrawn anything yet because I'm waiting to hope for a miracle that I can raise back all of the money I saved, or all of the money I spent, I'm a mother of 3. Life is very expensive. If it weren't for all this active cyberbullying, harassment, and stalking, I wouldn't have had to resort to such drastic measures. I will say all the legal packets were submitted and sent to government agencies in the middle of April. And I'm still active in my attorney's system, but I withdrew as a client unless something else happens again. Because their work was to speak for me in regards to something that happened in February, help me out through that issue in the month of March. And all the while they were producing legal packets, spending hours and hours putting together a timeline, collecting evidence, investigating, and all those legal packets were finished and submitted in the month of April. And as of right now, I've not heard anything back from the government agencies, and my bank account is struggling. So again, the GoFundMe is linked in my bio on Instagram, and that's really all I have to say. Thank you everyone for your support. A lot of people are slandering me right now. They're calling me horrible names, like a scammer. But you have to remember, those people are the exact same hate mob who I am trying to advocate myself against. I'm trying to combat. Also, GoFundMe, physically with their eyes, saw the document, the letter that my law firm, or my attorney, it's not my law firm, I don't work for them, I don't own the law firm, the law firm produced. They also saw the billing receipts, and I made a very specifically detailed video 2 months ago showing you all of the issues that arose because of cyberbullying, harassment, and stalking. A lot of people are asking why I made a GoFundMe and why I'm asking the internet for help. All of these real life issues that were brought to me were caused by the internet. I'm allowed to have a voice and defend myself. I'm allowed to have a voice and advocate for myself. They're over there with thousands of people harassing, cyberbullying, and stalking me. I'm allowed to have a support system that combats all of this hate. And I'm allowed to have a support system with hundreds of people, dozens of people, thousands of people, or millions of people to say, hey, we don't stand for this cyberbullying. It's messed up that you people are going to such great lengths to cause this person harm. She's a mom. Other people depend on her, going after her and trying to hurt her bank account and cause her bank account damage is really cruel, vindictive, and wrong. We'll show support by donating to her GoFundMe. I am entitled to that. The same way this hate mob feels they're entitled to harassing, stalking, and bullying me when all of that is criminal. And that's what my attorneys were trying to do. They were trying so hard to create a timeline with facts, with evidence, to bring legal packets to several government agencies. One of those agencies being the Exploited and Missing Children's Agency. Because as horrible as it is, a lot of the people in these hate mobs aren't just targeting me. They're also speaking about my children very inappropriately on social media. And above that, they're making egregious statements about my children, abusive statements about my children. And in my live stream yesterday, you saw it. You see it every day. These people who claim that they're for a moral cause, or they say we're here to save the children, are the same people making egregious statements about my children. And so, in these legal packets, part of that legal packet in that timeline are facts, evidence to back up the facts that these people were targeting, harassing, and making egregious statements not only about me, but also my children. Anyone in their right mind who is facing such severe harassment would get an attorney. What happened in February, I did not make public to the internet because it was so dangerous. It was so bad. And the only people right now who know about what happened back in February are my attorneys, me, law enforcement, detectives, and the person who did what they did. And the other person who did what they did. They know what they did. And as of right now, I don't know what the outcome will be from the legal packets. I'm grateful for the attorneys. I'm grateful that they helped me obtain a little bit more peace, but I am, however, still suffering financially because of the expense of getting attorneys who will advocate for me. I don't know what anyone else would have done if they were in a situation like I was in back in February because it was really terrible. So